Hello, 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 good people. How are you doing? It's your girl Audrey, and I'm back again with my beautiful, beautiful stories. So, if you're new on this channel, please hit the subscribe button below, and thank you so much. Today, I'll be talking about my first experience in Bahrain, the journey before and when I got to Bahrain. And without further ado, I'll just give you a little background about me. So I went to Nangina Girls High School, and after Nangina Girls, I went to Shitoto Girls High School. That's where I did my Form 4. And by God's grace, I went to Mount Kenya University, and I pursued Bachelor's in Education, Arts, English, and Literature. And I graduated a couple of years ago. So before coming to Bahrain, I was working at Aga Khan Academy. It's an international school in Parklands. And I was teaching English language and literature from year 7 to year 10. So while at Aga Khan, that's when I came to realize about the opportunity in APG school, where I currently work. And I got this through a former colleague of mine. His name is Sami. Hi, Sami. I know you'll be happy to hear about this. Sami is the one who linked me up with this job. I think that was about March or April in 2016. So Sami tells me, hey, there's a vacancy in Bahrain. Would you be interested? And I'm like, where is Bahrain? I've never heard about Bahrain by that time. And he tells me Bahrain is in Middle East. It's about an hour from Dubai on flight. And I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm just an explorer and a risk taker, and plus I wanted that international experience. So I tell myself, just hit it. I mean, there's nothing bad. There's no harm in trying. So here I am. I apply for a job, not even knowing the school, knowing literally nothing, knowing no one. So I send my CV to the HR. After sending my CV to the HR, I am forwarded the email to the head of school. I sent my application, and I had a vigorous interview. I think after a week or 2 weeks, they responded. Of course. I got the job. So the funniest thing is I applied for this job with no passport. I didn't even have a passport. Yeah. I'm applying for a job. Literally, I know I need a passport, but I didn't have one. So what happens? I have to apply for a passport, and you need your parents' copies of identification cards, your birth certificate. And so I go to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I need your ID. And he's like, why do you need my ID for a passport? Where are you going to? I got a job in Bahrain, and probably I'll be joining that school come August. And he goes like, no, you can't be able to go to Bahrain. I'm like, why? You know what happens in Middle East? They frustrate people, they mistreat people. You know, this perception that people have about Middle East. And I'm like, no, I'm not going there as any other person. I'm going there as a professional. He still insists. And now he starts talking about Al-Shabaab. So I'll tell you a little background about Al-Shabaab and the perception that people have about Al-Shabaab. Apparently, Al-Shabaab is a terrorist group. The name Al-Shabaab, the known Al-Shabaab, just like Boko Haram. Now, Al-Shabaab has bombed Kenya like a couple of times. Like the two recent ones that I can remember is in 2013, one of the greatest poets called Kofi Aunur, he was Ghanaian, passed away in Westgate. And then the last one that was in 2019, January 15th, there was the Desut attack where 20 people died. And Al-Shabaab, claimed that they were responsible for this. Anyway, so imagine you have no idea what the word Al-Shabaab means apart from the only interpretation of a terrorist group. And apparently, your parent is also skeptical about you going to this place. But I, being the risk taker that I am, I was like, no. I mean, if other Kenyans are there and they're working there, precisely, I'll be good to go. So I apply, get my passport, process every other thing that I need, medical certificates and everything. And I am ready. Here I am, prepared, and headed to the airport. Interestingly, were they four or three? So we were four. Three other gentlemen who were going to the same school as I was. And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I mean, I would be alone. And of course, there were other Kenyans in that school. So at least, that peace and surety that I'm not alone with other people. So we get to Emirates, and the flight was awesome. I wouldn't lie. I think that was the first time I was boarding an what's the name of this flight? Airbus? Boeing something, I can't remember, but it's one of the biggest flights that Emirates has. So big. I can't remember the name. So, we land in Bahrain, I think around 1 a.m. in the morning. And the most interesting thing is when we are queuing to go and get our visa stamps, I just queued amidst men. I was like the 17th person or something. And then one of the immigration officers comes and say, ladies, this side. And I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean, ladies, this side? No. Ladies, this side. And imagine I was number 17 and just like that, I'm number 1. I was like, oh God, holy Jesus, I want to be in this country. Who doesn't love favors? So here I am. I am the first person now, on the ladies' side, and I get my visa stamped. And when I step out of the airport, the heat, it was during summer. My goodness, I rushed back. Like the heat was just too much. I'm coming from a country where the highest we get is around 37 degrees Celsius. And here, I don't know, it gets to 40 or 50, almost. That was in August. So, yeah, here I am. I meet other colleagues, Miss Salma, Mr. Hussein, George, Mr. George. Actually, he left. Mr. Paul, Obita, Mr. Peter. And the driver picks us, Mr. Hamid, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Mr. Hamid picks us and he just has this fatherly gesture. He's so welcoming. So, here comes the story of Al-Shabaab. On our way from the airport, just before you get to where our school is in Bilad Al-Qadim, you have to follow the Tashan Highway. So you follow the Tashan Road. Now, when getting to that corner, just on the Tashan Avenue, I spot a club written on Al-Shabaab Club. You can imagine the shock on my face. I'm like, wait a minute. The Al-Shabaab Club. What do you mean Al-Shabaab Club? And I'm like, hey, stop. Where are you taking me? And, like the other two colleagues who were there, they're like, no. What Al-Shabaab means the boys. It's a term that means the boys. And I'm like, no. Why would they call the club Al-Shabaab Club? You know what Al-Shabaab means, like the perception that we have about Al-Shabaab. And the driver and my other colleagues comfort me and they tell me, no, apparently Al-Shabaab means the guys or boys. So, here I am. I'm shui. Yeah, shui means 50-50. I'm learning a little bit of Arabic. Yeah, shui. So 50-50. I'm a bit convinced. And I'm like, okay, you can do it, girl. Go for it. So, a couple of days later, I go to my accommodation and I'm reporting to work. And first day at work, I'm getting to this beautiful school and, the serenity is just welcoming. And then I meet the head of school. By then, she was our high school principal. I meet the vice principal, the primary principal. And they were so welcoming. Yeah, and I felt at home. And then the first week of students reporting to school, my headache starts. Whoo! And I was teaching year 9. You know what happens in year 9? I think there's just that madness that goes across the world in year 9. They're just coming from middle school. They're just fresh in high school. Young teenagers, yeah? They are so energetic. They have all kind of mood swings from here to Kenya. You can imagine. And I am coming to a different place, different culture, different religion, kids I have never interacted with. And I go to the boys' class. Those guys graduated, huh? They graduated, I think, last year. And I look at them. They are all talking in Arabic. I can't even comprehend what they are saying. And then I am upset and they say, Shabab, Shabab, Shabab. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, guys, you need to chill. Why are you even saying Shabab, Shabab, Shabab? I mean, wait a minute. This guy said it means guys, but in my mind, the prejudice that people have about something, you become so prejudiced before encountering something else and you become judgmental. So that perception was still in my mind. I still could not fathom the fact that Al-Shabaab just meant the guys. And they tell me, no, 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 miss, it means boys. So I'm a bit relaxed, but that fear is still in me. And now I move to the girls' classes, and these girls, they're just not in the mood to learn. I think they are looking at this teacher and they're like, okay, wait a minute. And I'm also looking at them, I'm like, what do they expect from me? What do I expect from them? I mean, it was challenging. The first week was there were a lot of challenges. My first year was not that easy. It wasn't as smooth as I thought it would be. But eventually, I managed to. The most interesting thing that I need to tell you is nowadays, I am the one who uses the word Shabab. You know why? When my students are busy screaming or doing something or talking and I just need them to be quiet, I'm like, Shabab. And then they're like, miss, you speak Arabic? I say, yes. But I need to tell you something. Why am I talking about Al-Shabaab? A lot of people have prejudice and stereotypes over things, over races, over religions, without understanding. Yeah, Al-Shabaab apparently, they claim something to do with Islam, but literally Islam does not support killing. An Al-Shabaab guy who is going to bomb you will not ask you whether you are a Christian or a Muslim and then kill you. No. If he's bombing a place, he will kill literally everyone. So having that prejudice and mindset about something without encountering it actually puts you at a very bad state. What am I trying to put across? Be exposed, learn about other cultures, learn about other religions, learn to know most things that are there in the world so that you don't fall a victim as I was. But so far, so good. Bahrain has been awesome and I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day or evening. I don't know what time of the day you're watching this, but have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.